Come here, Preacher girl. Okay, so with grappling dogs, if you're being attacked, right, the first thing a dog's usually gonna do is go for some weak spot, like your hands. Well, it depends on really how they're trained too. But they'll go for some sort of spot on you. It's either trained for them, to where they just have done it a lot, maybe on bite work or whatever, or they will go to what they know, which is basically like to bite your hands, to bite anything that's going to help you stop them. Basically, they try to take that first. Dogs, I think, like instinctually have this in them. I've seen a lot of dogs that I've never trained know how to do stuff like that on decoys. Like, I've never trained them to do those particular things, and they did it anyways. But I'm trying to show you a couple things real quick, that if a dog is engaging you, a way to stop them very easily, especially if they're a smaller dog than you are. So Preacher Girl sits at about anywhere from like 85 to 100 depending on how I feed her. Right now she's probably close to like 85. She's a pretty big dog and has a lot of game bred pit bull in her, but in reality, you know, I'm a ape basically, and I have grappling skills, and I know jiu-jitsu, and I've been doing martial arts for over 15 years now, lots of different martial arts. So this is like to show the power difference and the weight distribution difference. If she was essentially on me or whatever, yes, it's going to be different in real life when a dog is biting you, but everybody, if a dog bites you, as long as they don't kill you with that specific bite or bites, meaning they bleed you out or they poke an artery or like your neck or something, you can absolutely stop a dog fight. Okay, like you can and stop a dog from fighting you. You can absolutely win in any scenario if you are a decent sized person and know jiu-jitsu. Dogs do not know how to fight like that. They do not know how to stop a person like that. They do not know how to you know, do really the same things that people do. Now, maybe some genius dog, maybe, you know, if you can picture that, but dogs just don't understand combat the way that people understand it. And this is basically what I will show you is what I mean. You know, this dog is head and shoulders above your average breed as far as toughness, gameness, and size. So, and I'll show you how I can easily manipulate this dog and choke off this dog. We're not doing anything that's harming her. It's just a little discomfort when she gets choked, and she breathes just fine. Dogs do not respond to choking the same way that some sassy person does, or sissy, you know, person does, kind of thing. Like, you know, someone who's not able to, you know, train in jiu-jitsu or something like that. They are all usually pretty hardened because dogs historically have been working animals. So here's a good example of what to do, basically, right? So let's say she engages me here, right? If she's trying to bite a shoulder or whatever. A lot of dogs have really strong necks and heads, right? But your hands like this are much stronger. So if you tighten it up when they're in a bite, even, yes, they might be getting some meat and tearing you up a little bit, but you can actually even squeeze them so much that their mouth opens up like this, closer towards your body and whatever, or just it's like a neck crank. They just will let go or try to regroup or whatever. But this is a real good position to basically, if they're already engaged in you and hitting a shoulder, you can just fall back and fall into something like this, where you have control over them. Okay, and see how my leg is automatically underneath her? I can actually lift up and she comes with. So now she has no chance of being able to bite that well and drive into you because she's off the ground, you see? So now you have control of the dog. And this is a 85 pound dog all day right now, pretty much, all right? And it's not that much weight. I'm used to grappling people that are 300 pounds, okay? This dog is like grappling a small teenager with, you know, razor blades in their mouth, okay? So you essentially, once you maintain control and you got this lock, and even if they're biting you, right? If you squeeze hard enough, like I said, they'll let go, and then you have control of their body, okay? So this is a good sweep I like to do when I'm wrestling with the dog, you see how she's getting uncomfortable? Because she can't control her body the same way that I can control her body right now. So this is a good sweep I like to do. I get up into the legs right here, and I lock down the head, and then I sweep. All right, sweep. All right. Basically, when I get into this position, she wasn't used to this. Sorry. When I get into this position, you basically have control of the dog. Now, if the dog tries to, attack your face, whatever, you can always get down to the side of their head like this. Now, this is something you're going to have to do really fast because dogs are much faster than people. They will be able to corner you and bite you in ways that you're not able to defend as well. But that's why blocking your face and cutting corners and being confident is really important. So if I go down to here and I get the head, right, even while she's trying to bite and scratch, whatever, and you're using your weight against her, okay, this dog is the size of a teenager, okay? Most police dogs are the size of a teenager. Most attack dogs are the size of a kid or a teenager. They're not very big, okay? You just have to understand that the teeth situation is bad. But after the first bite or bites, you have to maintain control of that dog because you don't want to get bled out. That's the problem. The dog bites you so many times, you will lose too much blood, and that's when they really will be able to harm you. But see how she's in a good position right here? She can't really do much of anything. If I have my head like this and I'm holding the back of her head, now she might be able to twist into you like that to where her face is like this, okay? She will twist like this back into you and try to bite you from the front like this, okay? This is why you need to maintain control of her head and make sure your neck is blocked, and try to just, if she bites your fingers, you're in a survival situation, that you got to try to protect your fingers and put them away somehow, but you got to maintain control of where the chomper's at, basically, okay? But from this spot, you have the option of going literally straight into a choke from the top like this, okay? And it doesn't take much to choke them. You see how she gets uncomfortable? Because there's a spot on their neck that is hard to reach with just a regular old collar choke, okay? If you use a collar and try to pull up, okay, it's not good to do that. If the collar is not tight enough, it's very hard to do a collar choke. It takes so much force to pull up on a collar choke. A better choke to do would be just to grab this spot right here on the dog. Come here. Grab this spot on the dog right here. You see, if I push on this, it's right in. See how it's like almost like a trachea of a person, basically. Like you'll feel it. It's almost like you're a bone feeling or something like that. It's like a little, it is kind of like her spine, I guess. But if you touch that and squeeze right where her neck and her spine is at, that will get them off immediately. It's like clockwork. Now, if you're in a situation where they're willing to die for it or be asphyxiated for it, then you're gonna have to maybe do it until they start to lose oxygen and pass out. If they pass out, they'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen to the dogs. They're not gonna harm, themselves. I mean, you're not gonna harm them. They're not gonna harm. You're not gonna harm them. They're not gonna harm. It's not gonna harm them, basically, to do that. They are just, it's just something that you have to do as a dog owner sometimes. If you need to, like, choke a dog off or whatever, if they get into something with some other dog, and you want to save the dogs, you got to be able to get in there and get this choke going like this. You see what I'm saying? This even doesn't work that well. You have to get up inside. You see where she starts to move now? That's the choke that you want, okay? A dog like this with a lot of wrinkles is a very tough dog to choke. You'll be sliding around on her neck like this, okay? You got to get your thumb. Usually I like to put a thumb right up into that area and then see how she moves, because it's uncomfortable, Like I said, look at the chompers on this dog, okay? This dog's teeth will absolutely slay you if they're really trying to shake and bite hard enough. So you have to be prepared to rapid fire do this and get control of the dog. And essentially, if they're attacking you, or if you're in a situation where a dog is attacking your dog and you don't want the other dog to get harmed, or in any situation where you want to maintain control of a dog, this is what you got to do basically. Here's another position I like to be in actually, is where I'm in almost like a on back position, kind of like, you know, regular just taking to someone's back in jiu-jitsu, and then you can actually turn it to the side too. If like a dog is really hard to control, this is one of the best ways to control them, because you lock down their legs. Okay, so now you're in a position where they're going to be biting like this, trying to kick with these legs that way, or get underneath their base and shoot up into your face, but you have control of their neck and their head from here, and you can actually go into some sort of arm bar for dogs. That does work. Dogs can literally, you can break their tendons, you can, you know, you can do all kinds of funky stuff that you would do to a person. Chicken wing type stuff, you know, they're not built that much better than a person in areas, you know. I mean, maybe I think their bones are, it's like their skull bone is definitely like hefty. But they're, you know, you could totally do something where you are doing an actual arm bar type of situation, or something like a omoplata type of thing with the dog. If you can get underneath like this leg and you put the leg on top, and then you just crank that sucker. I mean, it's gonna affect the dog. And like I said, this is all if you're getting attacked by a dog. You're basically, you know, screwed. You know, if you don't, I mean, you'll be basically screwed if you don't know how to defend yourself. Because dogs, like I said, they'll bite you a couple times. They'll bleed you. Once you start getting into like about 10 bites on you, you might bleed to death. So you got to be prepared to stop the dog before he does that. You know, and then even one bite. I mean, I've gotten bit before where I've lost all the blood in my arm, pretty much, in my hand. Shh, guys. Sorry, but you know, they just get loud. But you basically, you know, you have times where you're in positions like this where they'll try to, you know, bite like your feet or something. Whatever, you're gonna have to get bit in order to, you know, like to survive the situation. I mean, the chances of you not getting bit a lot even is you know, very slim. But at least you can learn to manage. You know, you can learn to manage like the dog or a dog attacking you by training with your own dog and feeling the weight and the way that their body moves and everything else. You know, this is a purely safety video. Just trying to save people's lives, you know, and I hope that we as, you know, dog owners can move forward, you know, with trying to you know, stop dogs from ending people's lives in this country, you know, when you don't have to. I mean, it really isn't that hard. It can be hard if you're trying not to get bit, okay, then that is hard to break up a fight. But if you get in there and you get bit, you know, then that is, you know, it's really easy to do it then. But like, yeah, if you have to go to work or something, you know, it might be hard to break up something. But it honestly, I've broken up this one before, and it took me like 10 seconds, you know what I mean? It's really not that hard. You know, it's really like a situation where, you know, it just takes more. You just have to have like the gumption to go up in there and get in there and, you know, not worry about a tooth coming up and popping you or something like that. But other than that, I mean, it's really not that hard. And I'm not even a, you know, a black belt or anything like that. I'd probably be a black belt at like a regular school, but I'm like a sandbag, you know, blue belt at your average school, you know, or purple belt. So, or average good school, sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, you got, you know, people who really know how to grapple and stuff like that, and if they knew that dogs are susceptible to that, they would have very, very little issues controlling a dog and stopping an attack. Okay, I'm trying to think of another good position to get a dog in. Another good position is if they're standing and they're driving into you, trying to get after, like, you know, your shoulder, your arm, and then you go over top somehow. If they got a hold of your arm, you're not really going to be able to just go over top. If they do get a hold of your arm and they're pushing towards you, you can sweep that left leg, right? Let's say if it's on the right arm, and you just sweep that left leg, and then they're on their back, and they lose their drive control of you. Anytime that they're not on the bottoms of their feet, okay, they lose their drive into you, and it becomes much easier to manipulate them, and it's basically just dead weight on your arm shaking you, okay? So you have to understand that if you really crack down on these dogs and flip them, it's literally like grappling a toddler who just shanked you. I mean, it's not that serious. People will think it's serious because they get all up in their head and they freak out, and the dogs shake them 7 times and it takes their meat off, you know? But as soon as you get into the squabble with them, you should be able to just quickly manipulate them in a way that is effective towards you. And then people, you know, I've had videos where I troll people and I'm like, oh no, oh, like when they send their dog with the muzzle attack and shit, and then I just stop them with one arm and go, what do I do next? You know, because that shit is just, it's like that easy. Like, I mean, a big 100-pound dog, I mean, that's not even a dog that is your weight, and you know, you can stop a person from coming at you. You see what I'm trying to say? And there's a lot of people who would like to believe that their dogs are really that good, but if you put a person and a dog in a pit, okay, and you never could let them out, and you know, it was like whoever wins gets to come out, the person is going to win most of the time if they are a trained person, almost all the time, because you know, it's really not that hard. I mean, if you have understanding of how to do it, your body is physically more capable than the dog's in order to defend yourself, you know. So but yeah, if a dog's coming at you and he doesn't get that arm, let's say on the right arm, you can go over top and do, it's almost like a I don't know specifically what you would call it, but just over top of the neck, you know, you're trying to choke, and you know, if the dog keeps driving into you, you can always just slide your foot under. Here, I'm trying to show you. Come on, sweet. She's a big lazy girl. So let's say she's coming at you like this, and you know, you're in front here, okay, and you snap down, okay, on the dog, and she's trying to drive into your guts or something, right? Anytime that you're in a situation where the dog is on their feet, they can drive on you, and it feels a lot stronger than what they are if you sweep them off their feet. So what I like to do is I'll gator roll. I'll lock this up like this, and I'll gator roll that way, or I'll gator roll to another side, okay? Now, if you do that and the dog's still biting you, you're gonna lose a lot of force that they can bite you with, because you're not able to shake as well. So let's say, you know, and on top of that too, you can always switch to get on your butt, almost like a butt scoot, and then you can take them up over your head and then get them straight to full mount, and I'll show that next. But this is a good one right here. I twist like this, and I can just cup like this, and I twist them right like that. So now, even if they're biting me, okay, now they're off their feet, okay? And usually if you have control of their neck, you're a lot stronger than the dog, right? So then you can just come straight to a position where you're here on their neck, and then you swarm and basically just try to get to a spot where you can control them, okay? You don't ever want to be in a position where the dog is biting on a wrist or something that they can kill you with. They pop a certain part of your body that can kill you, you know. So that's really the only thing you have to worry about, because everything else you're probably going to be just fine, so long as they don't give you a lot of like bites basically, or you know, blood loss. So let's say if we're in that position and she's coming through on like a choke, right? So come up. So she's coming through on a choke. She's coming through on a choke, and you want to butt scoot out like this. You butt scoot out, okay? And you want to flip her essentially from there, okay? Even if she's attacking you, you can butt scoot out and then flip. And then now you're in a position front of it, and you get side mount, basically. So if you're in side mount with the dog, they can't bite you, you know, on your legs. You can just push down on their head and stop them from being in that kind of basically, you know, you have control of the dog at all times, you know, if you're in one of these situations. Other people will try to act like you don't and stuff. Usually those people are small people. If you're a big person, you can absolutely manipulate a dog. Like I said, this dog is way bigger than your average canine, much stronger, much gamer than your average canine. So even at her old age, I mean, she would slap up your average Malinois so bad it's ridiculous. Okay, and you know, I play with her like she's a little play toy, you know. Yeah, you know, a really big dog is gonna do a lot more damage quickly to you, but like I said, you know, people choke out people much larger than themselves, and if you get that back, that's all you really need, because you just go straight for the choke, and then you can stop the dog, you know. Like I said, always try to put a thumb up into that neck, grab that spinal trachea area, and when you feel it and you can touch it, it just snaps them back out of what they want to do, you know, because they don't like it and it's just bad for them. They won't want to choke and hold. Now some will try to do that and they'll asphyxiate, but it's not bad for them. It won't hurt them. They just, you know, they start to, like, you know, they'll drop out and they'll wake back up just like a person who you tap out. You know, nothing is gonna kill them, nothing's gonna harm them. It's a wonderful way to stop a altercation or to protect your life. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have some more doggy jiu-jitsu videos coming, and specifics on how to grapple a dog in the way that I've done it. So